What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop Luke. In this episode, we'll be reviewing the Collingwood North Melbourne game. Let's get into it. So before we get into it, of course, supported by Footy Live. Download the app down below. But this game, look, there's not really much to talk about. It was a bit of a dull affair, but let's get into it anyway. So Collingwood took on North Melbourne today on Sunday. You'll be watching this on Monday, but I'm recording it on Sunday. And look, it was one of those games where we did what we needed to do. I went into this game thinking that we weren't going to sort of really smash them. I know in my preview, I think I said Cox was going to kick 6 goals and would win by over 40, I think. I knew we weren't going to win by like anything silly like 80 or something. At one point, we got up to about 53 points, and I thought, oh, this is going to be good. Nice little percentage booster. We ended up winning by, 35 points, so 6 goals. Not too bad, but it was a very dull affair. The game, like last week's game against Carlton, was won in the first half. We kicked 7 goals 5 in the first half to 2 goals 8. So it was 47-20. So that's a 27 points margin at halftime, and then you kind of just put on one more goal in that last towards the end, and then it's that 35 margin also. Look, I don't mind at the moment against these sort of lower teams, Carlton included, going into fourth gear right at the start, coming out of the blocks and beating these teams, and then at half time just kind of saying, okay, we're not going to go super defensive, we're still going to attack when we can, but we've got the game won, we can switch it on if we have to. Let's just go from fourth gear to maybe second, maybe first, kind of cruise through. Not get, I want to say not get any injuries. We'll talk about steele, Sidebottom a bit later, but just cruise through and just do what we need to do to win. We want to keep some gas in the reserve for the second half of the season to absolutely smash it, especially coming up to the bye and coming up to a big game against Melbourne. Just these games, do what you need to do in the first half and then slow it down. We knew North Melbourne were never going to sort of come back. Besides that last quarter where they kicked 6 goals, 1, which is, credit to them. They kept themselves in the game. But we did what we needed to do. And there's a lot of people complaining that it's disappointing that we didn't win by 60 points, 80 points, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, I get it. I would have liked to have won by 80 points, but it did boost our percentage still a little bit. We've got the second best percentage in the league. We're at 133% on the dot. And I think Melbourne on top of us at 133.9. So that's still a really good percentage. We're first on the ladder. We're 1 game away from Port Adelaide, 2 games from Brisbane, and then 3 games from third. So we did what we needed to do, and it was just one of those games that you just got to say, yep, done. Let's look on to the next one. So we'll talk about steele, Sidebottom. This broke my heart. Absolutely broke my heart. 300th game today. He said he had about 100 people from his family and friends and old AFL players and stuff come to watch him. He lasted maybe 10-12 minutes and he was in a tackle. Someone landed on his knee badly and he suffered an MCL injury. Craig McRae said it looks to be only a 3 to 4 week injury. Darcy Cameron did it earlier this year against Richmond. He was out for about 7 rounds, so hopefully not that bad. We'll see a specialist tomorrow, get some scans, and we'll know fully on Monday, maybe Tuesday. But 3 to 4 weeks, West Coast next week, then Melbourne, and then the bye. So he'll probably return. Not the Adelaide game, maybe the week after. So maybe with Dan McStay and Lipinski, if it is a 3 to 4 week injury, which is really positive. But it's just it could have happened last week. It could have happened next week. It had to happen during his 300th game, which was the most heartbreaking thing. He's only missed 33 games in 15 years, and this was just the one that it couldn't. It should have, if it was going to happen in the last quarter, not in that first quarter, the poor dude. But the best thing about it was he was still smiling, and we love our smiling assassin, and just sending all the love out to him because that is so bloody heartbreaking, but he's still smiling, which is the best thing you can do in this situation, because if you don't smile, you bloody cry. So I want to talk about Collingwood's game just in general. Like I said, the first half was really good. We finished with close to 70 tackles, which is amazing. We're averaging 10 tackles on top of our opponents each game, which is really cool. So if the opponent's getting 40 tackles, we're averaging, we're getting 50, etc., etc. 10 more is what I should be saying. So we did really well in that in that aspect. We usually score really well from clearances, stoppage clearances, but today we scored immensely from turnovers. 66 points from our turnovers today of our 105 points. So that's nearly 3/4 of our points from turnovers, because, you know, the Kangaroos not super well oiled, but that's where we kind of scored from. And they're a good centre clearance side, or just a clearance side in between the arcs as well. And they actually beat us in clearances 35-33, and in contested possessions they just lost to us 124-127. So they really matched it. Like I said, they did a lot in that last quarter, so credit to them. They just fought to the end, and, you know, if I was a Kangaroo supporter, I'd be pretty happy with that effort. You know, 53 points down and then to fight and only would lose by 35 points. You know, what more could you ask for against the ladder leaders? I thought Jordan De Goey had another really, really good game. He just seemed to be everywhere. 35 disposals, nearly 600 metres gained. Same with Nick Dacos, over 30 disposals. They were very instrumental, you know, running out of the centre, Nick Dacos running out of the halfback, sort of that link-up work. Of our forwards, Bobby Hill, I feel like, was pushing up the ground a lot more, marking everything sort of on that wing, setting up goals as well. But Jack Ginnivan was the one that I was really sort of surprised about. In that first quarter, he had a lot of the ball. He ended up with 2 goals, 1. He had 15 disposals, but of those 15 disposals, 9 of them were score involvement. So that was the highest number in the game, which is amazing. So if he's not doing it on the scoreboard, he's doing it somewhere else and helping out his teammates. He isn't having a big year like he did last year. He set the bar really high last year with, I think, 40 goals or something like that, 41 goals. But this year, he's maybe playing a little bit of a different role. But it's still 2 goals run is still a good return, and 9 score involvements is even better. So ticking all those boxes to kind of stay in the team. On the other end, I think Nathan Murphy was very outsized by Nick Larkey. I think Larkey kicked 5 goals for the match, which is, I think that was a game high as well. So, you know, props to Nick Larkey. But this is why we need that big body defender, Nathan Murphy, Billy Frampton coming back in the next couple of weeks, maybe next week, but I'll probably give him a rest, bring him back for Melbourne, because we really need, you know, that big tall for Melbourne. You know, Nathan Murphy, I absolutely love him, and I love what he did against Mackay and Curnow last week. Larkey just got the better of him. We all have off days, but I don't see that detrimental or anything, but I really want Billy Frampton running through that backline to help out Murphy and help out Darcy Moore. Look, guys, there's not really much else to talk about this game. Like I said, it was just a very dull game. We did what we needed to do. It's the ones where you just go, yep, let's get there. Let's, you know, play at 50%. Let's win. Let's get the hell out of Marvel and, you know, take on the next game. We are 10-1. 11 games in and we are 10-1. We are absolutely flying, and we're not even playing very, very, very good football. Yes, we're playing, you know, there's passages where we're playing champagne football. You know, against Geelong at the start of the season was really good. Port Adelaide was really good. We've had bits and pieces where we've been really good, but we're not playing at 100%, and that's exactly what you want. And I'll keep saying this every video. Craig McRae's got us on this sort of incline where we'll be humming right where we need to. We'll be peaking right where we need to towards the end of the season, and that's exactly how it should be. We take on the Eagles next week, which is hopefully another one of those games where you just go through, win, come back home, but the Eagles always cause us problems. So we'll talk about that a little bit in our preview. But Collingwood 10-1. Feeling on top of the world right now. We're on top of the ladder, that's for sure. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, Double Shackers. I'll soup you later.